The Ultimate Universe has been out for a while now with a few different comic book storylines, and we have finally got a character that so many people wanted to see and a lot of people thought was dead in this universe, and that is Ultimate Universe Wolverine. This comic book just came out and I had to go pick up issue number 1 because from his design, you guys can already see. I'm showing my comic book, but I'll put a more proper image on screen, of course, to give you guys a better look. His design looked fire, and I've already been loving the Ultimate Universe, what they've done with Spider-Man and so many other characters, so I knew it was gonna be heat. We gotta talk about Ultimate Universe, issue number 1 for Wolverine. So we start off the issue in an airplane with a bunch of other soldiers and Wolverine. And these soldiers are just basically gossiping about Wolverine on what he has done and what he can do, saying they heard he was an experiment gone wrong in the North American Union. Some say that he's pieced together by different corpses of soldiers who died in combat. And they also say he can't die at all, no matter what you do. Stab him, blow him up, shoot him, he will always come back. And we see Wolverine stand up and these soldiers freak out, but he actually just heads over and opens up the hatch in the plane. And the soldiers freak out saying he doesn't have a chute. But of course, it's Wolverine, he doesn't need a chute. And we see Wolverine diving out of the plane looking so freaking cool. I absolutely love it. And I don't know specifically how to pronounce their last name, but I have to emphasize the artist for this book, and I've seen their work in a lot of other comics, Alessandro Capuccio, I believe is how you pronounce their last name. I hope I'm not getting that wrong. Bro, the art is fantastic, especially in this comic. I love their art. Either way, let me continue. We see a little bit of a flashback for Wolverine. Apparently, there was a bombing that was meant to destroy everybody and anyone in the airstrike area. But we see these soldiers are following a half-killed body dragging itself across the ground. But of course, we know that's Wolverine barely alive, and they put a gun to his temple and shoot him. Now back in the present, we see him falling out of the sky, and people are confused whether or not that's a rocket falling out of orbit. And once it lands and the dust clears, there's soldiers on the ground confused on what happened, saying, "I can't see a thing." You heard that? And we see Wolverine do what Wolverine does best, tear them apart. And we see this is a church area, kind of like a defense ground for different characters and a military unit. Characters like Nightcrawler and Mystique. And Mystique stands her ground telling soldiers to arm themselves, but we see the bloody Wolverine claws go through the door, and Nightcrawler tells them to leave now. And we go back to another flashback, and we see that Wolverine was actually captured by Colossus, Omega Red, and Magic. And they learn about Wolverine's healing factor, that apparently he was able to heal enough to eat that bullet in the head, take it back out, and actually kill the ones that shot him all within the same couple minutes. And according to the conversation of Colossus and Dr. Prostovich, they've actually been trying to make somebody with an adamantium exoskeleton with infinite regen, right? And if you actually know about the Ultimate Universe and kind of read some of the previous books, we know that a character's exoskeleton was found, and we believed it was Logan. That's why so many people thought Wolverine was dead in this universe, but that wasn't the case. That was just another experiment gone wrong. But they basically explained that they want to control the Wolverine, that his instincts are insane, that he's a wild animal, but with enough power, they can definitely make this work. Once they have Wolverine under control, he will be a great asset. Now back in the present, we see Wolverine crack his neck ready for a fight, charging at soldiers, with Nightcrawler telling Raven, "I know who it is. We all need to leave as soon as possible." And while Nightcrawler hides, trying to say a prayer, all the soldiers in the building are trying to shoot and defeat Wolverine. But slowly and surely, he's mowing through every single one of them. Nothing is affecting him. He's slicing every soldier there. And we see Mystique actually transform into Colossus in hopes to try and trick Wolverine. To kind of be like, "Hey, I'm here, I'm your ally, remember, let's work together," sort of like a trap. But of course, Wolverine's sense of smell is too strong, so he attacks Mystique. And she's able to fight back a little bit and even use a minigun to kind of tear through his torso. But Wolverine's healing factor is too strong, he's too much of a feral animal, and he jumps back out fully healed, slicing her neck as she bleeds out and dies. And now everyone in the church has completely fallen to Wolverine, except for one person, Nightcrawler. And now we return back to another flashback with Wolverine, and they're continuing more tests on him. And they learn that his past self was known as Logan, but according to his mind and what they've done to him to completely transform him, that past self of him is gone. It's dead. He lived, died, and was born again as they choose. They turned him into a cold-blooded, relentless, merciless killer, and they call him their Winter Soldier. And back with Nightcrawler, he's trying his best to calm Wolverine down, saying, I know this isn't you. I beg of you, please. I don't want to fight. But of course, it doesn't matter. The Winter Soldier is coming after him. And Nightcrawler cries, saying, I'm sorry, and he teleports, kicking the Winter Soldier in his face. And he picks up a gun, doing the sign of the cross, saying, forgive me, I do what I must. And he begins teleporting around Wolverine, completely lighting him up. And for a while, it does pretty good damage to Wolverine, but he uses his sense of smell and smells where Nightcrawler is about to appear, turning around, stabbing him in the chest, killing Kurt. And this is where we actually get a little bit of a final words from Kurt to Logan. He tells him, if you're in there, my friend, I pray you have the strength. And I'm sorry we weren't quick enough. We did come back for you. We would always come back for you. As he bleeds out and dies on the floor. And we see Wolverine walk out, the only survivor from that battle. And we get another flashback to help explain the kind of brainwashing they did to Wolverine. They basically showed him how Kurt and Raven were the enemies, the absolute enemies. They told him how they could have been a part of the solution, just like Wolverine, but they chose not to. So no matter what, they're the enemies, and you will kill them. And we see in the present, the Winter Soldier gets picked up in his plane and he takes off his helmet and he starts sniffing the blood on his hands. And for the final page of this issue, we get this really cool, like, zoom in onto the Winter Soldier, just looking so sick. And over the zoom in, we get this really interesting kind of prayer. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And that is it for Ultimate Universe Wolverine issue number 1. Bro, the fact that they made him the Winter Soldier in this universe is crazy. I am so curious how they're gonna go about it, because like the Winter Soldier storyline, we had Captain America for that. Who is that character for Wolverine? It's not Kurt, it's not Raven, you know what I'm saying? It's not Mystique or Nightcrawler. Who could it be? I'm so curious. I'm definitely gonna be collecting more of these books. His design is fire. The story in this universe is fire. So how are they gonna bring him back to the side of the good guys? No clue, but I love it. Or who knows, maybe him actually sniffing the blood was enough to kind of jog his memory just slightly of what he might have just done and maybe reconnect something for issue number 2. Who knows how long he's going to be a mindless Winter Soldier, but hopefully we get the Wolverine back pretty soon, because when he realizes what he's done and comes back as Wolverine, I'm sure it's going to be a really sick character arc. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to check out all the other videos. And of course, this is my second channel. If you want to go check out my main channel, where we do a lot of Marvel Rivals content right now, go check that out. All the links are in the description. I also stream on Twitch Monday through Saturday, 5 to 9 p.m. mandatorily. So if you want to come check me out, all my links are there. See you guys in the next video. Peace out.